What's going on today, guys? Massive bruise and sunburn here. And today we'll be talking about why a lot of people do not like Unison audio. First off though, if you're wondering why I have a bruise on my face, it's because I fell down skateboarding. I like to skateboard in my free time sometimes, and sometimes that includes falling on my face. If you'd like to see more of that, check out my Twitter or Instagram. Anyways, let's get started here. Okay, so Unison Audio is a plugin and MIDI pack type company. They have quite a few products. Some of them are free, most of them are not. And they do quite a bit of advertising on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, I'm not sure where else. They do a lot of sponsored videos as well too. They've made things such as Drum Monkey, the Unison Audio MIDI chord pack, MANGLER. They make quite a few different things. Those are the ones I could think of off the top of my head. Now, the first and most obvious reason a lot of producers don't really like them is they have some shady business practices. Some of this may be an overlap of some things I've talked about in the past, but I just wanted to collect all my thoughts about Unison Audio into one video because I feel like they're all kind of spread out through a variety of my videos. Bad boys, what you gonna do? So Drum Monkey is a drum loop generator that they claim sounds good 93% of the time. Spoiler alert, it does not sound good 93% of the time. I've reviewed it, so have quite a few other people, and that's bullshit. It does not sound good 93% of the time. This thing costs $300. Originally, I think it might be on sale right now for like $200 or something. Either way, it's way too much for what it is. It can generate drum loops in a bunch of different genres. It doesn't do them very well though. You're better off just using your own drum loops or just make your drums from scratch. It'll just be way more personal and way more complex sounding. These are not that good. So this part you're gonna have to take my word for it on, but they were selling only, I believe, like 1,000 or 3,000 copies or something like that. So I did find a website with a review that references the fact that they were selling 3,500 copies. So I know I'm not imagining this. But basically they were claiming to only sell a set amount of copies of this, and the reason they usually do that sort of thing is to give people the fear of missing out. Newsflash though, this isn't a Supreme drop or a limited edition Nike drop. This is a Unison Audio plugin drop. Not quite the same. Could you imagine a legit company like Waves or Isotope doing this? Spoiler alert though, they're still selling copies of it. I'm not sure if that's breaking some sort of law or something, but it's definitely shady nonetheless. Normally, I would use the Wayback Machine to check this sort of thing, but I tried to check it already and there was nothing there. I feel like a big red flag for plugins is having some sort of animation or something. It's like to distract you from how bad the plugin is, it seems like. Only exception would maybe be Nani, but that one has an animation on it and it's not too bad. But usually if there's an animation on it, it's kind of concerning. They shouldn't be doing that. They're claiming it cost them $1 million to create this. I don't believe that's true. They often do this sort of thing where they're constantly like price knocking. I'm not sure what the proper term for it is, but they put the price, then they cross it out and put a cheaper price. It's pretty much always on sale though, essentially. I feel like that could be kind of misleading. I'm not sure if I'm pretty sure that's legal, but it's just really shady. At least you can rent to own it. That's a plus, I guess. They have a money back guarantee. That's one of the only good things, I guess. Bad boys, what you gonna do? Another shady thing about Unison Audio is their products are usually just not up to standards, you know. There's a lot of better things you can get in the industry these days. I will say they do have a few things that are not that bad. Like I do think their Unison Beatmaker Blueprint pack is okay, but the problem is it's just really overpriced. Like most of their stuff is really overpriced for what it is. I've actually tried the Beatmaker Blueprint pack and it's not too bad. Like there's some decent progressions in there. Could you get them somewhere else? Probably. You might be able to find the same progressions in Scalar. I can't say for certain. Let's have a look at all their different plugins here. So Drum Monkey, it's not very good. Not for $297 or $397 or whatever they're charging. Either way, that's too much for what it is. I would think it would be okay for like $50 or something. If it was like $50, like it would be not so bad. Like I think it would be decent then, you know, as opposed to bad. Bad boys, what you gonna do? Then they got MANGLER here, which I just gave that a poor review recently, and mostly because it's lacking a dry wet knob, and it's not really bringing anything new to the table. It only costs $27 on sale, but when it's not on sale, it's $67, which is kind of a lot for what this is. What am I saying? It is a lot for what this is. Every knob on this plugin is something you can already do in your DAW with stock plugins. And people will say, oh, some people want it. This is easier than doing that. It's like, no, it isn't actually. Bit reduction is one knob. or it can be 2 knobs sometimes. And then stereo imaging is also 1 knob, and those are both 1 knob on here. So those things are not special on here. The mangle and destroy, okay, yeah, sure, I guess kind of, but you could do that with a compressor, a stock DAW saturator, a distortion plugin such as decapitator, nani, trash, whatever you want. There's a bunch of different ways you can achieve the same effect. You know, it's not bringing anything new to the table. If it had a dry wet knob, it'd be a little better, but it still wouldn't be that great. This is a type of plugin that, like, you know, if it was free, it's like cool, but this is not worth money. It's just not worth money. Anyone could make this plugin. Well, I shouldn't say anyone. Anyone who knows how to make a plugin could make this plugin. Another thing that's kind of shady about these sort of websites is they really try to use the pros giving a testimony in order to help sell the product. That really doesn't tell you a whole lot, you know? Like, it's just a one Facebook DM right here. Like, for all you know, they could have given them money right before this. Yeah, it's kind of just like, here's some money. Now say the thing. When for all we know, these couldn't even be real testimonies. But for all we know, these, like, they could have been paid before giving these testimonies, you know? I mean, maybe they weren't, maybe they were. We don't really know for sure, but it doesn't really mean much. I think, like, having a before and after sort of thing, that is a lot better because you can let people make their own judgment about it.
Bad boys, what you gonna do?
On top of that, they also have this chord pack here. This is a thing that got a lot of people into knowing about Unison. Now, this Unison MIDI chord pack here is just a basic set of chords and a variety of keys and scales. It's just a bunch of chords. It's nothing special. A lot of DAWs can actually do this inside the DAW. How much of a fraud would I be if, like, people were just like found out I used it every single day? I've actually seen a website that lets you do this for free. Okay, so yeah, here's a website here with a free MIDI chord pack. Anyone could make this pack. It's not trademarked. You can't trademark scales and chords. They literally just made the chords for every single note and every single key. Not even every single note or key, because they just took one key and then copy pasted it 12 times and like transposed it. So I'll include this link to this free chords in the description for anyone who wants the alternative to the Unison Audio MIDI chord pack. But basically the biggest problem with Unison Audio, in my opinion, like outside of the unethical aspect of it, is the fact that they just charge too much for what they have, you know?
Bad boys, what you gonna do?
Now we're going to talk about MIDI Wizard. Now this is the crown jewel centerpiece of overpriced bad plugins. It costs $397.
Holy shit.
And doesn't have its own sounds in it. You have to route it through MIDI into another synth, which wouldn't be a problem. Aside from the fact that it costs a ton of money, it also doesn't let you do anything other than choose the genre preset, key, which is major or minor, combined. You can adjust the notes individually, but it doesn't tell you anything about the chords or melodies that you are making. It literally has no features. It's the bare minimum possible. The only plus side is you get this little wizard casting a spell every time you re-randomize it, and for all we know, he could be casting a curse on your stupid song. There are many options that cost far less than this. I'm gonna list a few of them off real quick. I'm sure there may be more than this, but these are just the ones that I know. You can get the Captain Plugins Epic Suite for $79. This includes Captain Melodies, Captain Chords, Captain Beat, which is kind of like Drum Monkey, Captain Play, and Captain Deep. Now, Captain Chords and Captain Melodies gives you far more options than this. It lets you choose a variety of different scales, including a whole bunch of different modes, as well as some stranger scales as well too. You can change the rhythm. They have rhythm presets. You can change out the complexity. You can swap out chords individually. And on top of that, it has a bunch of sounds loaded in with it already, so you don't have to route the MIDI in order for it to work at all. This goes for Captain Melody as well too. And to top it all off, they work in unison. Now, I think Captain Beat isn't as good as the other ones personally. I don't really know how good a drum generator can really get. One feature I do like about Captain Beat is the ability to generate fills. I find fills to be kind of a hard thing to write, so the ability to randomly generate a fill can be really useful sometimes. Again, this is only $79 for all of that, so you get the equivalent to Drum Monkey, you get the equivalent to MIDI Wizard, except all of it is better. I'm not a salesman here, I'm just letting you know what is out there. On top of that, you can get Scalar for $59, but it doesn't have a melody generator, but it has quite a few options, but you'll be living a much happier life whichever direction you did try to go with this. Or you could just write your own shit. That's also another option as well too. Anyways, this MIDI Wizard thing is hopeless. I don't know how they set their prices or who let them set it at this price, but it was a bad idea. Again, they also say this one's worth $1 million. It cost them $1 million to make. And if that's the case, they got ripped off, like, so bad. They got ripped off so bad.
Bad boys, what you gonna do?
Unison Audio copyright striked Ave McCree about 3 years ago now. Ave McCree made a video talking about how the Unison MIDI chord pack is a scam. You could call that a scam, you could call it a scheme. It depends what you want to call it, basically. Either way, it's not really ethical. They didn't like it, they struck him down. The problem with copyright strikes on YouTube, you can copyright strike someone if they're completely stealing your content. If they're taking your content and re-uploading it and pretending they're you or something, or if they're just stealing it and they're not adding any sort of commentary to it, you're completely within your rights to do it. You're completely within your rights to do it at any time, but it's unethical to do it when someone is criticizing your product or they're just using a segment of it to talk over it. That's something that would fall underneath fair use. Fair use is something that only can be judged in a courtroom, though. A little bit subjective in that aspect, but most people would consider it to be fair use.
Bad boys, what you gonna do?
So he made a video talking about how they copyright strike this channel. And another thing I thought was strange about this is how many dislikes there are on this video, which makes me wonder some other things about Unison Audio as well too. Because if you look through the comments, I mean, it's possible he deleted negative comments. I trust Ave McCree here. I don't think he would really do that. But what's up with the like and dislike ratio here? It makes me wonder if Unison Audio has something to do with this dislike ratio, you know? I mean, it's possible they may have done some botting. That's all I'm saying, some dislike botting. I'm not saying for certain that they have. I'm not saying for certain that they haven't. It makes me kind of wonder that they might have, because this dislike ratio does not reflect what's happening in the comments here. The comments here are a bunch of support here, and there's not really a lot of reasons for people to hate him for this video. If anything, he's the one getting bullied, you know? He didn't even get his video back up. There's no reason for there to be this many dislikes on this video. So something isn't adding up here. I'm gonna throw a like and a sub on this channel. I'm on my 3rd channel right now, my Type Beat channel. It doesn't add up here, but there's no way to prove it for certain. I actually think there's a way that Ave McCree could check this if he wants to. So you could go into your analytics for this specific video and check the rate at which the dislikes are coming in. You can look. If the dislikes are coming in like at a much higher proportion than the likes are at a certain point, then there's a very high likelihood that it's a dislike bot, or someone bought dislikes in order to just spam your channel with them. I've actually been a victim of a dislike campaign like that in the past. When likes and dislikes come in, you'll get a like here, dislike there. You know, it's not going to be like a bunch of dislikes in a row. It'll be spread out. It's not usually going to be happening in succession like that. Usually if it happens in succession like that, then it's a dislike bot or someone bought dislikes. I can actually pull up a video here that proves what I'm talking about. Let me just show. Okay, right here. This is what botted dislikes look like right here. You see this? So on this day right here, I suddenly got 30 and then it jumped. Either that or someone sent like a large amount of people to come dislike it, which is very unlikely, like unless someone has like a Discord and they're telling a bunch of people to do it. But yeah, as you can see, the dislikes just randomly jump in the span of one day from 14 to 35. It kind of doesn't really make a lot of sense. They've made a lot of mistakes. I mean, aside from the rampant ads, the unethical business practices, the unethical YouTube practices of copyright striking someone criticizing them. Yeah, I don't know. In my opinion, like they're always going to be bad in my book. Like, I don't know if you could really come back from that. Like, maybe if they unstruck his video, they apologized, they stopped charging so much for things, or they just made better products that people actually want, then, you know, maybe they could be like forgiven or whatever, but I don't know. I mean, I'm not the one to decide that sort of thing. I think the whole community's kind of already decided that. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to check out my other videos, my 2nd channel, 3rd channel, my Patreon. If you guys enjoyed this video as well, consider subscribing, liking it.